Hey! Oh, good morning, Kevin. How the heck are you doing?
Great, now that my mic's on again. I think I do that like every other Friday. I forget to turn my mic back on. I was typing something and I guess Cody's ready for a revolution.
Well, it has. I think it has begun this week, right? The machines are coming for us all. So the best we could do is be good, little pets to the machines, right? Isn't that the recommendation? Good
Yeah,
morning,
so much.
Christian.
Good morning. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Uh,
yeah, big week, huh? I mean, we're talking about machines because of
uh,
Microsoft Ignite. So I thought it was funny. Some of the people on Twitter and everything were saying, anybody else taking a shot every time they say the word Copilot, we're not going to make it. I was like, no, you wouldn't have made it through the first 30 seconds of that thing with as many times as Copilot was brought up. So,
yeah, it's gonna be a bad time. Oh,
so just to set expectations, Christian, I don't know that anybody could summarize all these announcements very well. I think it's just a matter of pick and choose to what we're going to talk about, which we kind of have an idea, but we're going to kind of ebb and flow with what people put in the comments and everything else. I mean, you look at that blog post, the table of contents itself is so much scrolling. Um, yeah, I don't know that I could do it justice just to summarize it right now, but we're going to kind of pick a couple things that we're kind of excited about and a few things that we have found and started trying to look at and everything. So hopefully we'll hit on what you guys like. If you don't, please put it in the chat, right? So Chris, any other like ways to get started?
no, yeah. I just realized I have something I can share with people. I just have to get it over, and I have it on a different PC.
Oh,
Frankly,
I
I,
was I
I'm
was
a.
thinking rules.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You got the rules. What am I saying? Gosh,
We're so
today.
excited to Chris. If you guys have not followed what Chris has been doing this week, you're missing out, right? He had wonderful shorts coming up to before Ignite. Those were great. You and Dax on the run, the black helicopters. We're all glad that you're safe. And then, things coming up to it, and then even more stuff afterwards. So Chris has had a very, very busy week. He's just been out there doing it all. So you've done a good job this week, Chris. It's great.
Oh, thank you. It's been an exciting week. I'm excited to share that enthusiasm with other people. But you are right. We do have rules. Let me get into that. So, we do want to answer questions that people have. So, please post those questions in the queue. Both Kevin and I are very fortunate to be MVPs. So, some of the stuff we've been playing with for a little while. Others we just saw this week for the first time too. But either way, we'll do our best to answer any questions that you have. But as always, please don't spam or repeat questions. Moderators, the people with the little ratchet by their hand, will block you. So we do follow that same guy in the cube rules that as always, right? Um, uh, I do want to share one thing here. We do have the book of news. Microsoft published, putting that out on the social intraweb so that people can get access to this. This link basically documents all of the updates that are out there, and can really help you get up to speed with if you want to go deeper into any of these things. The book
Yeah.
of news is very good for
And that's not
that.
just Fabric, right, or Power BI side. That is also a lot of what they're doing on, from the overall Copilot,
Mm-hmm.
Azure. There's a lot, for us in the data world, there was some things around SQL and things like that. So, you'll want to kind of look at that for other type of things as well.
Yeah, and I think this was one that like I haven't seen anyone talk about this much, but I thought that was really cool. Model as a service. In other words, like models that like are publicly available and on top of huge data sets, that are the people have already built. You can now we're going to be able to just call them for things like demographic data or whatever it is, right? It just could become available. So that was pretty cool. A whole bunch of
So,
stuff is
but let's dive into that, like the the wording part of everything, right? So we got the
Mhm.
name change of data sets to semantic models,
Yep.
right? But a lot of people are going to be probably still saying data sets for a while.
Yep.
Data sets has always been an overloaded term, right?
Hmm.
Where a lot of people, when they talk data sets, they don't specifically mean the Power BI data set. I know I've had to say that line in a lot of conversations, right? And so saying semantic model now I think is going to help, but now where that starts crossing that line is what you just showed, because the word model there was implying a machine learning model, right? I
Yeah.
think on
Right.
that.
Yep.
So
And honestly, I model has always been overloaded too, right?
yeah,
I mean, you talk about a data model, you talk about an analytical model, you talk about a data science model. I think we're trying really hard to bring some consistency in, and that's why they're going to like old school naming. I'm like, okay, let's get back to the basics. What are we talking about here, right? Like a data model is going to be, your classic lake house. You're going to have, or your data warehouse model. Uh, your semantic model is going to sit on top of it, which is what brings meaning and context to,
mhm.
to the data that's behind it. And then there's going to be your statistical or data science models that sit on top of that. Uh, uh,
Yeah, but we're all still human, so we'll always abbreviate and just use model
yep.
and hope you get the context out of it. In writing, I think people are going to be a little bit more clear, but in conversation, right, is
Yeah.
we always want to be as short as possible. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
just us
Yep.
being human.
Yeah. 100%. And frankly, I think one of the things that we're big fans of, and I think is what the heck? One of the things that I'm excited about are all the different co-pilots that we're going to see coming out. Um, and we're actually going to dive into some of them today, especially I would like to do a little more live stream. I did a demo of this. I released a video on Power BI Copilot last night, but this is a functionality that's only available to premium consumers. So some people, if you don't have a premium capacity, you're not going to have access to this right away. So I want to make sure people understand what it is, what it isn't, and to know that hey, if you want to see this as something that Microsoft is producing on a regular basis or makes available, that we start submitting ideas, right? I think that's I think that Microsoft's very responsive to that, so that'd be a great place to get started. Does that
Yeah.
work, Kevin?
So
Or
yeah. Well, let's start there, but also let's just kind of you know the premium capacity, because now we kind of have a little bit of a mix between premium, right, the P SKU side, and then the F SKU. So
mm-hmm,
what we think we know right now is you have to have at least have to purchase a P1 in order to get Copilot or the F64.
yep, yep, and
And go ahead.
well, and I think um, Jai is on, and he's asking for North Central region. When is this going to be enabled? The timeline for getting this out is, to everyone on the planet is end of March, is my understanding. So this is something that's not going to be available like right away to everyone. This is something that they're aggressively pushing out, but it requires some. Uh, I think it requires like adding GPUs into all of the servers, right?
That's what
Because
I would imagine. Yeah.
Copilot runs on a GPU. So if the server doesn't have a GPU or doesn't have a sufficient GPU for this type of thing, they've got to add that in. Well, I mean, that's not something you can deploy with an API, right? That means like techs have to go in, they've got to crack open those boxes, they got to move everyone off the boxes, and they got to get it on there. So be aware that might take a little bit. Although for North Central and US regions, I think that might be available today. So,
Well, what region are you on?
let's go take a look.
And Jay just put in the same question we were trying to get to, that from our understanding, trial capacities will not see Copilot. So
Well, let's go and we'll get to that in just a second.
okay.
So let me see where am I? So in order to see where you are, you go to the question mark and oh look, it looks different now. Oh, there it is. About Power BI. So some of that stuff I'm not sure if that is okay to show, but I'm in the North Central US region. They always block some of that stuff, so maybe I shouldn't have done that on live stream. I don't know what that'll happen, but this is my trial capacity. I mean, I really hope nobody blows it away, like attacks my trial capacity, and because it's just trial stuff. So, it's my demo stuff. But I'm in North Central US, and it works here. So if you're in the North Central US, my theory is that it's available, but it's not something you could just go and play with. You first have to go into the administrative portal and look at this new thing that was updated here. We saw this today, and I was pretty impressed with this. So right up at the top, there's this little like caret here that allows you to expand and see all the things here. Like data sets can export data to OneLake. That's pretty cool. Users can store data tables in OneLake. Very awesome. Users can use a preview of Copilot, and data sent to Azure OpenAI can be processed outside your tenant's geographic region. Although I guess this would imply that they're not putting a GPU on the premium capacities.
Or they're reserving the right to move some things. If the regions are close enough and they feel they can network it fast enough, maybe they'll do that processing somewhere else until they get it all there. But also, like on my tenant, I'm in the east, and my new gray box that you were showing up there only has the first two options. So that's going to be clue number one. If it's even available to your tenant, if you could see the admin portal, right? Because in Chris's region, it's available. It has, it seems to be available, or it is available because he's already used it. He has those last two bullet points, so I don't.
Yep. So in order to turn this on, there's two settings. They'll be collapsed down here. You need to turn on this one, Copilot and Azure OpenAI service. Users can use preview for Copilot and other features powered by Azure OpenAI. There's all sorts of kind of warnings on this. This is a tenant-wide setting. So if you turn this on, you're like everyone. You're either you're turning this on for everyone, and then the other one that you have in place is data sent to Azure OpenAI. You basically have to approve both of these things in order for that Copilot and Azure OpenAI service to work.
And do you recall what the default setting came out when you saw it yesterday? Was it turned on?
It was disabled.
Okay.
So when I came in, I first went in. I saw someone who had it enabled and was trying it out, and I said, well, "Wow, I wonder if I've got it." I went and looked. I'm like, "Oh, I don't have it," and so I thought, oh well, I'll have to wait like everyone does. And then the guy demoing said, "Hey, make sure you've turned on these two toggles." So I went in, checked it out, turned them on. It took that like 5 to 10 minutes for it to show up. And oh, yep. Hey, Alex. Alex from Nabot.
Confirming.
Saying, yep. Default is off. So good news. You're not going to have to like worry about that. Just like bombarding your content. But it can get people in, and once you turn it on, you can start to play with it. So what does that look like? Let's go and let's take a look at this. How does this work? Okay. So once I've got those on, you wait 5-10 minutes for things to like sync and whatnot, refresh your browser, that type of thing. If you go into a data set and you go to create a report and start from scratch, you're going to see that you've got where the heck did it go?
Are you in a
Oh,
proper workspace?
nope. I am not in the right workspace. So because I was using uh, my my dev capacity over here,
Yep. You got the
I
little diamond person.
yep, this is my premium per user capacity. There's not, anything I create off of this model, it's not going to have Copilot enabled. Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to go into my workspaces that I know I've configured to use at premium capacity, right? And so my data sets, I've got my star here now, or a diamond. Now the diamond used to be the hey, you're in a premium capacity. Look, there's no little man here, right? Like that guy is gone. So you thought you were fine. Things get more complicated as we progress, and that's okay, right? Now you have to kind of go into workspace settings and take a look at your premium capacity, what you're set up on. Okay, now this is now set up on the trial. So this was switched over to the trial capacity, my Fabric trial capacity. This isn't going to do what I need it to do. So I need this to be in my premium capacity because my trial won't work. And here, I'll even show it to you. So I'll leave it as a trial. So we'll just stay there. And I'll find my Data God Model V2. I'll go in again, and I'll say create a report, and I'll say start from scratch. And again, I'm looking, I would, if it's here, I'll see it right here. It would be right in the middle here. I'll say Copilot. There's nothing there. So this is not going to do it. So I'm going to have to go back into my dataset workspace, go back into my workspace settings, and go to my premium capacity, switch over to a premium capacity that I know is a P1 or higher, and then choose that capacity. Okay. Once I select it, it's going to refresh. Straight up, I don't know how it's able to move it as quickly as it does. That doesn't make any sense to me. That can just flip that quickly, but
Yeah, a lot of times you have to do the refresh. Did you do the refresh of the data set? Sometimes I've noticed I had to do that
yeah.
in order to get the data to actually move.
Yes, I agree. I've noticed that too. This did not happen this time though. So I'm in my data set. I did the exact same thing, right? So go in, create a blank report. And now look, I've got my Copilot enabled here, right? Oh, that's a new little thing. So I've got my Copilot is up. I get a big hey, give it a shot. Simply describe the report you're looking for. AI will do the rest. Okay, so we're going to try it. I get this window that pops up. Let me move us off to the side so we don't lose it. And then I can go in and I can start to create stuff. Now I'm going to minimize that so you can, hopefully this gets bigger for you to see it. Now I can say, create a page that shows internet sales by customer. I hit enter. It's going to start working on it. So I just gave it a prompt, right? Like I said, what I wanted to do. Now, the demos that they show on stage, right? They fast forward through all this stuff, right? So that, it's well, they avoid errors and all that good stuff, right? But it's, it's out there. But I'll take a look at this internet sales. Yeah, broken out by the different countries. I know I said customer, so it chose customer alternative key, but then it went in and it broke down by names. Like, okay. And then the sales amount.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think that,
fast.
yeah, I mean, it created a report, and this is beyond decent. This is relatively good, right? I mean, I think this is this makes good sense. And the nice thing is I can go in and I could modify this if I want to, right? So let's say I want to not take up all of this space, right? So I could say, you know what, this gave me a good place to start with. And I guess I should have showed this in the visual yesterday, but I can then go into the smart narratives. And now I can take advantage of that new Copilot feature in order to create a narrative around my data set. Right. So this is the
So
other.
before you click on that, can you just
Yeah.
zoom in a little bit?
Sure.
Where I'm seeing it, it's a little small.
Okay. Now this is the regular custom narrative or smart narrative visual that's in Power BI. Gave me two different options, and it did not. This one does not require Power BI premium capacities, to my knowledge. I haven't seen any document on that would um, uh, that would change that. I think this is going to be something that is there. Jai asked a question, and just a quick hit on this. Large data set is removed from public preview. I don't know anything about that. I think there's talk about the best practice was to define the size of the data set by data set versus at the workspace level. So it would make sense if they got rid of that setting in the workspace, to me. But okay, let's keep going.
Was that I thought that was GA already.
Was it? Okay.
That you're talking the switch at the dataset level to say whether you want to use the large dataset format?
Yeah. Well, that's been out there for a while.
Yeah.
But there was a workspace setting and there was a dataset setting. And the recommendation was to never set it at the workspace. It was always to set it at the dataset level. And to me, that seems silly. Like, then why does it exist at the workspace? Kill it at the workspace. Let people define it at the dataset level. That makes
Yeah, and I thought for a while like it had to be on at the workspace level in order to set it at the dataset level.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a clarification: Copilot large dataset limitation.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't know yet. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that could be out there, but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, and so back to the visual. This seems to be probably the same visual that if you turn on the preview options in desktop.
Yep.
Because there's the allow the narrative to be enhanced with Copilot in the desktop.
Yeah.
And so as you were saying, that doesn't need a premium capacity, but it's a way to start using some Copilot features on your own early on, right?
Yep. And so 3 big preview features are out there: DAX Query View, Summarize with Copilot Visual, Improved Q&A with Copilot. Okay. So this is the summary of the text one we're working on. We'll have to try the improved Q&A. I haven't done that yet. But if I hit Copilot Preview, I can answer likely questions from give an executive summary, answer likely questions, create a bulleted list of insights. Well, I'm going to do answer likely questions from leadership. Oh, and look at this. I can choose to, it's a little small. Let me zoom in. So it gave me some questions, some prompts. It's giving me like, hey, these are good prompts that you might want to have. So I chose this one, and it wrote this prompt. Now I can go in and I can edit this prompt and I could make adjustments into this. Okay. Not about the cell ones. Enjoy. Hold on. Let me invite him in.
He's just saying to show the comments that he put in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. So what he's talking about the ability to use these Copilot features.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Yeah. It has. I have that already. Okay. My text versus. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create. Now, like I said, I could make answer these questions. I could also do like focus on bikes. Right. Let's say I want it to be summarized on this, and I have. Look at this. Look at this. Do I want my answers focused on the current page or specific elements within the current page? That's pretty exciting. So, okay. I'm just going to say the current page because I want to do everything. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit create. And now my narrative is being created here. Right.
And I think I see what Alex is saying, because so to use the smart narrative, you need to have access to the supported capacity, right? And you're up on on the service doing this. Down in desktop, I even turned that preview feature on and restart it and use the Q&A stuff, and it looks the same on my desktop.
Yeah.
So you have
Oh,
to have
look.
something backed. You got to have access to a premium capacity. Anyways, we
Oh, this is interesting.
want to zoom in again on it.
Yeah. Let me zoom in. Dash shows internet sales account by customer, country, gender, product categories for certain. It gave some questions from leadership, and then it gave some answers. Oh, these are. I mean, I don't know how. That's interesting.
It's fun. Gonna have to be playing with it more. So
Oh, look at this. It found an issue in my model. I don't have a join right in this.
so is that like is that lower purple visual all the same? It has the same number everywhere. Pull it. See how smart it is? That's great.
Yeah, hey, Copilot, fix my model.
Well, that's next. I mean, hey, recognize the
Yeah,
problem first off, right? So
yes. Oh.
Oh.
All right. Let's let's yeah, and right, like look at that. Cody has an excellent comment here. He said it seems like you can use the output to build a better visual to answer those questions. Maybe hide the visual you solely for the narrative. Yeah, I think you're right, Cody. That is probably very true. But I also, and you know what, frankly, it is kind of good that it does regenerate that and call that out. Like, how many people might look at this and just go, I don't know, like, not know why it's doing this, right?
Right.
I mean, that is fantastic. Does this read? Is it interactive?
Did that change because you did filtering?
I don't know. This is brand new. We're still figuring this out.
I don't remember that highlighting being there before.
Yeah, I literally just clicked on that. But let's say I click on United Kingdom. Give me a new AI insight. So it's not like the smart narrative will automatically rewrite itself like in real time. But like, oh, look at that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty decent. Wow. All right. Now so hang on. Oh, I am in reading view. No, I'm not. Let's go to reading view. Cancel. Don't do that. Go to reading view. Save. Copilot 2. Look at that. Can I? And
Yeah, it does the same thing.
Oh man, look how fast that was.
I think this is pretty cool, right? But how many people have P1 capacity? I mean, a lot of the big places and everything, right? So I think it's going to be one of these things.
The rule of thumb is like if you have 500 users or more, or
Mm-hmm.
you're approaching 500, you go to a premium capacity. So like, That's a lot of companies that are out there that are in that space, but holy cow. That is pretty fantastic. And if I've clicked on it, oh my gosh, it remembers it if I've clicked on it before. Like, look, there's no refresh for that. But I haven't clicked on that before, so it has to refresh. Oh man. This is very nice. I like this quite a bit.
It's going to change your world.
Yeah. Sorry, thinking about some of the stuff here.
you're like solutioning and selling and everything, so
My bad. Let's
all right.
try. Yeah, let's do some more Copilot, right? Let's see. Let's suggest some content. If I click on suggest some content, hit enter, it's gonna like generate its own suggestions, right? So let's see what it comes up with.
So
now
Cody,
I know my
Cody
internet
sees
sales is a little jacked because I don't have a couple joins on the internet, but resellers is good. What's that?
So Cody was saying that smart narrative appears expensive in CPU. I'm not sure what's Cody, what's prompting that. If you could kind of add it a little bit into that. I mean, it probably is, right. Again, the the Copilot parts of it's going to run over on GPUs usually, from our understanding. But I mean, yeah, it's probably expensive. Needs a lot of processing power. But it's really quick, and if we just have a P1, we're paying the same price.
Yeah.
That to me that's Microsoft's concern, not ours, right? So um, that's what I love about this whole software as a service part of it. Yeah, it's it's a whole new world.
That was
Sing it.
exactly it.
But I mean that to me is what's great. There's a lot of discussion around, what does this cost? What does that cost? As long as you're staying within the boundaries of what you're paying for, right, or within the bursting, and there's been some conversation um, around that recently, right? Is what's the cost? How to figure out the cost? But if you're just paying for the premium capacity, and you
Yeah.
watch and you're not exceeding it, what do you care if they have to put it on CPUs, GPUs? Use it. My thought is use it. Peak it at
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
you know,
You're right. You want to be taking advantage of it. And I mean, a healthy analysis service is doing this, right? Or healthy
yeah.
premium capacity. Serve it up, get done. Serve it up, get done, right? But some of that like can be okay too. But this is serviceable. I mean, I think this is
Yeah.
a great way, great place to like start and show this off. I mean, look, we've got like little icons that come in play here. We've got a nice title in place. We've got a filter bar. I mean, this like legit works to me. Oh, look at this. The background on the page is transparent and we're getting the background of the wallpaper. Oh, is that smart? Miguel Myers, you are. I could smell your hand in this one. This is fantastic.
So,
But
and in other news, since you brought his name up, right? You
mhm.
had the show with him. Was it
Yep.
this week or last? It was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was
Um,
last week.
and so now all the features that he showed on Chris's live stream on Wednesday are all in the November release,
Yep.
right? So go ahead and get that downloaded. The new card, they updated the new card visual. They updated the slicer.
Yep.
You got a new slicer visual. So those things that he's been demoing.
Look
Chris
at
has a
this
great
though.
video. Yeah.
I didn't turn anything on for these to come out. I think these are on by default. Or hang on, let's see if they were.
I didn't even see anything. Let me look in the
Yeah,
options.
options and settings. I wonder if because I turned on the smart narrative preview feature or the smart card.
That's
See, there's
probably
the new card visual. Oopsies. New card visual. I
I
had that
think
enabled.
it was because then there's a new button slicer. I think it's on by default.
Okay. Okay, that could be on by default because that is, I mean, they're fantastic. But now we get in and, um, there've been a lot of work on the cards, the slicer. I mean, I guess I have to add some data.
You got to have a data model.
Oh yeah,
A semantic model.
interesting. Ah, look at that. Get on it, guys. Stat sits here too. Oh, that's fine. It's going to be okay. Deep breaths, Chris.
Okay, Chris, you lost me for a second there.
Oh,
what are we excited about now?
It says.
Oh, it still says data sets. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta find room to put the two words semantic model, right? It's gotta.
Yep. Now
Something's gotta get bigger.
This is something that I saw was pretty cool.
Did you turn on your preview of Copilot on the desktop?
Dang it, I did not. Oh, it's gonna have to make me restart.
Yeah, you're gonna have to restart, but because that's where we wanted to kind of see what the Copilot in the desktop part does for you, since you have access to it. But
I do fiscal year. Actually, then you add in reseller sales amount. No, this doesn't make sense because you wouldn't want to sort like this, but it sorts by the highest amount here first. Now, sales or date doesn't make any sense, but if I could do like reseller, I do reseller name. Now I've got these guys in the order of their sales, right? And then I
can you zoom in again and show us where you added that under tooltips?
Under tooltips on the slicer. So slicer has a tooltip, and so it's going to be the reseller name, and then it's going to be a tooltip reseller sales amount. And then you can go into, and you've got all sorts of different things and settings, right? Single select on, force selection. Ooh, that's nice.
So I do like that, but I also see a lot of people coming back going, why doesn't that sort alphabetically? Right. I think in a lot of things, right? So we're kind of using the slicer as not only just a slicer, right? Kind of the especially like if you did this as a drop down. So if you're doing it as cards, maybe like this kind of makes sense that it could sort differently. I'm assuming the same behaviors there. The way it sorts is if you changed it from a card to a drop down.
Yeah.
So that is kind of interesting. But I've always found a lot of people, like if I sort something that they're used to, like a name, they're used to seeing it alphabetical. They're always coming back like, well, why is that not alphabetical?
Yeah. And that's a great point, right? And you can just take that off, and it goes back to alphabetical. So kind of cool.
But I think you got to push people, right? And you got to put it out, and then they go, well, and you explain to them why it's that way. And okay, but yeah, we're still not ready for that, right? And it's always dropping those little seeds into their minds, right? And go, oh, geez.
I'm just getting a sip of coffee on that one.
How long? Maybe starting today.
And go.
All right, so that's going to be a new thing now.
Sorry.
How soon before I could work that into the conversation in the right audience? So there's one or two people I work with that maybe I could work that in, but
all right. So yeah, let's try turning that on. So we'll try that. Not that's for settings. Cancel.
Options.
Options. Preview features. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
And now we're going to have to fill time while he restarts.
All right, so that comes up. That'll be up and running there. But back to the Copilot in the service here. I think this is very serviceable, and you can okay, so I've created a sales performance creation. I mean, it honestly, you keep. Okay, you can keep going with this. You can keep asking it questions, and it will keep coming up with stuff. What is this?
Do you have any meetings today, Chris?
Oh my God, I do. I totally have a meeting today. Which
I was just saying, because you're going to be distracted with all of these things.
Oh, it's going to be so hard, so hard to not do this. But actually, I'm going to start over here. Copilot. Let's start. Suggest content for this report. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw that. And we're day 2, right? With this, and this is still a preview feature, right? Okay, hey, and so you know what? I'm even gonna turn off my screen for it. Oh, not you. Turn off my screen. We got a just quick level set on what is a preview feature? How do you interact with it? What is the purpose of seeing something in preview? Now, some preview features are going to be literally they'll be ready for prime time the second you touch it. Often this is a something that's a very small change, or it just fits in with the platform. Sometimes some of the toggles or whatever, it's going to be very easy to oh yeah, that rolled out, and you can see that because it's not revolutionizing any part of the technology. That could go into GA in a month or two.
So probably the new card and the new slicer maybe fits that part of the scenario, right?
Right. Right. Or we're going to call it semantic models instead of data sets.
Yeah.
That's just a labeling change for the most part, right? No, it's like a change a functionality, really. So that type of thing's going to go right out there. Then there's going to be stuff that needs a little bit of work that needs to go out, and you want to interact with it and work with it, so that as that work evolves and as you engage with it, you understand how it works and how it functions. But you also understand hey, I've tried this out. It's clear that it's close to that productionable type thing, but maybe it's not quite there yet. Or you know what, it's close, and I'm gonna take the time to invest and talk about it, and any little issues we'll just deal with, right? So there's that type of preview features that come out, and then there's more of the aspirational features that come out that are going to have a longer timeline associated with them. Now, some of those things are calculation groups. Calculation groups were incredible, but that was very much a pro code capability that needed a lot of refinement in order to come up with a mechanism that was accessible and usable to a low code space, right? That's why we saw it out there for over a year and a half to really get maturity and understanding of the capabilities out. So, and create that UI interface out and making that functional.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting observation, but it wasn't labeled preview, right? Was it? Because
it was labeled preview for a little while in the pro code space. It was labeled preview, then it went GA, but there's no UI for it, right? Again, making sure the technical foundation is in place, making sure that people who are engineers know how to troubleshoot, know how to deal with bugs, know how to test and validate. They go hard at it, and then once any issues that are uncovered are sorted out, or the majority of them, then they work on that low code front end,
Yeah.
presuming people ask for it.
And
Now,
not to squirrel you too much, but there was an announcement about calculation groups
mhm.
and some new functionality added to it, and I haven't dove into it a whole
Oh,
lot,
there
but
is.
it's going to take us to the point of being able to simulate a default member.
Mm, okay.
So I've seen Marco and Daniel, I think it was, kind of tweeting about all that, and I got to start diving into it a whole lot more. But I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff with calculation groups, and I can't remember. I think something was announced, but then it was it was the select expression, and it was delayed. Thank you. I thought I remember seeing it was delayed at the last second. So. But I'm excited to see where that's going to be going. But anyways, you were working up to preview features like shape map visual, right?
Yes, like shape map visual. And these are preview features that need to be public facing for engagement and feedback, like the shape map visual.
How many
Right, the
years?
shape map visual has been in public preview for like 3 years, and the reason
Hmm.
for it is that it was clear that it was radically insufficient for what we need when it comes to a mapping visual. So I think they've made a handful of enhancements to it over the years, but they basically said, you know what? It's a nice capability that needs to be there, but we need to launch this entirely different, more fully vetted, capable feature, which is the Azure Map Visual. Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Alex
Yeah.
brought it up. I
Yeah.
suddenly went, oh.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Azure Map is the future,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Azure Map is the future. Whew. Thank you, Alex. Just about.
The big question is, when will shape map be removed? You know, just
Well,
kind of
and
totally, right?
so that goes back to like Miguel's. Like they're not gonna like it's still gonna run and work, but you just won't be able to access and create new once Azure Map is out and it does all that stuff.
Hmm.
Copilot is very similar to that in that all of these features have to be front-facing user engagements in order to get the proper feedback to make the right enhancements to it. Now, something is there's going to be a few options. They're going to start to we're going to start to see in any front-facing user capability. Either with Microsoft's good, and this is agile development, right? You're going to get enhancements, you're going to make it, and you're going to keep going until it's like, hey, this is awesome and this fits our users' needs, right? And it's going to be out there, and that's great. Other times, you're going to release an MVP. It's going to go out, and people are going to start to interact with it and provide feedback. And then the realization, like the shape map, is going to be, you know what? This needs to be rethought, right? And they're going to they're going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to reinvestigate it. They're going to rethink it. And if that means it's going to like, okay, hey, we need to rebuild, they'll rebuild. If it means they're going to like take what they have and make a radical information switch on it, that's what's going to happen.
Hmm. And we
So,
have to be okay with that. I think there are
yep.
some people that are, extremely vocal about it, right? And Alex just brought up another one, the Spanish Q&A, and I'm looking at my options. Yeah, that's been
Mhm.
out there, a long time too, but it you still have to kind of give them credit of going, look, we're trying, we put some things out there, we want to get the feedback, we want to hear some stuff, you know, nobody ever bats 1,000,
Yeah.
all the time, right?
Yeah.
You may be lucky enough that you have a game that you hit every time you get up to the plate, but over the long term, that's never going to be the case. And so, keep trying, keep pushing things out there, and keep improving. That's the message. And the preview features give us that ability. So
Right. And that's why when I come back and I look at something like this, I say like, hey, this is fantastic. Are there some issues? Yeah, but I'd also like if I didn't have meetings and actual work today, I would spend the day trying to enhance my model because I bet like like this model was not a good one because I had missing joins. It's a demo model. Who gives a crap? Normally, large language models, Copilot's going to weed out those issues. That's going to bring it to light, right? So I'm going to have to like resolve that. And
Yeah.
I would also like look into like, what I should be doing? I should be capturing better descriptions on all of my fields that are legitimately what these things are, so that when my Copilot looks over my model and tries to come up with what it is doing or what it's generating as a response, it has all of those attributes that's available for it. Okay.
That's a good point. That's going to be a whole
Mhm.
lot more time that we should be putting into developing the semantic model to give it all the right information in the
Yep.
right places in order to help the Copilot work, right?
Yep. Well, and so, oh no, where did my mouse go? There it is. Just a
Is
quick
it
answer, a question. Why is that? Okay. My trial still says 59 days left. This, I'm sure, will start to count down at some point in time in the future. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I haven't heard anything about when that's going to happen. I think
yeah.
that's been a big question for a lot of people, right?
Mhm.
Is, when when am I on the true counter? I've heard some people kind of mention it like, oh, well, it's going GA and it's going to immediately go away because I've already had it for all these times. I don't think that's going to happen, right? I
Yeah.
think I think they, and this is me guessing. I know nothing on this. I think that whatever point of time, let's say it's going to be December 1st, right? And you
Mhm.
will have that 59 days, 60 days from December 1st or something like that.
Yep.
That's what I would bet on, because again, they still want adoption on all of these things. The people that are using it, they still want you to be able to use it. So
Well,
hey, so
and
real quick before we go, can I show
mhm,
one of the things
please,
that I'm excited about?
yes.
We'll do it kind of real quick. Alex is saying he doesn't know directly either, but he expects very soon. Yeah, I would expect very soon. If I was to lay down a betting sheet, I would say December 1st, right?
Yeah.
That it would start properly ticking down. That would not be unrealistic. So,
I will
oh, I
also.
got to share my screen in
Yeah, you
order
have to
for us
share
to
your
do
screen.
that, don't I?
While you're doing that, I'm going to say, remember when Power BI came out, though? I think I had the 90-day trial for a year and a half before that started. That went away. So uh, we'll see. We'll see what happens
All right. So you already kind of showed turning this on,
there. Hmm.
but in the preview features, it's the DAX query. That's one of
Oh,
my
yes.
one of my favorites that I'm going to really jump into.
Hmm.
And I did see, and checking my socials this morning, that Marco has an I think it's an unplugged unboxing of it. So he
Hmm.
may have a whole lot more information on this. But you do have to come in, turn on your preview settings, right? We'll go
Hmm.
down there real quick again. So we got the DAX query view down here. I already have it turned on. I think it is a restart. Now, what you'll notice is I have a model, and I don't think I have my, boy, I am not set up today. Chris was showing everything. So where's my zoom it? We'll go without it. Sorry, I won't be able to zoom in. Um, but I'm connected to a model up in the service, right? So I'm live connected. So I don't get my little DAX viewer over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click make changes to this model. And so it's another reason for the direct query to a Power BI data set.
Hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. It's going to create that. And now we'll see I get this little DAX query view icon over here underneath, report and model and now DAX query, which is
Ooh,
really cool. Okay. So
yeah.
to kind of get started with this, let me just build a quick matrix, and I'm going to put fiscal year and customer. We'll put We'll put name, why not? And then where is total net price? Why can't that build? Something needs to be recalculated. Let's take that one off. I should have tested this.
We're going live. We'll fix it there.
We're going live. Huh.
Well, what do you know?
What do you know? This data set doesn't work. We got 5 minutes. I think I'm giving up.
Yeah,
I got it to work with some data set. I must have picked the wrong one today. But what I wanted to show, and I'll kind of just talk through it, is you could build out a visual and then turn on your performance optimizer, right? The analyzer. And it'll tell it to refresh. You'll see the DAX query, and there's a button right there to click, and it will bring it right into your DAX query viewer. So now you have the query that was run and produced by the visual. You can modify it, change it around, test it, right? I tend to have a method where I develop things. I tend to use Tabular Editor a whole lot, or DAX Studio, because I'll move outside of the data set, write the measures that I want, and test them with my queries before I actually save them back to the data set and put them onto the report. I know a lot of people will write their measures, get them right into the report, and then put visuals together. But that tends to be my method of doing it, and I like it. I think this is going to help people learn DAX queries quite a bit by just staying within the tool and not having to jump out somewhere else. So, so I'm excited for it.
I'm excited about that too, but I would, before we go, I do want to hit on, frankly, something I think that is very big, which is coming in, is the mirroring capabilities in or shortcuts. And Cody says he thought it was odd that Databricks wasn't included in the mirroring. And I'm going to tell you exactly why Databricks will never be included in the mirroring, is because we're talking, Databricks already by default writes in Delta format files, right? So for Databricks, you wouldn't mirror, you would just change your storage location from where you're currently storing it into OneLake and then gain the advantage of it from there.
And there's been a lot more coming out on that. I haven't watched, but I know Gynacube has a video about something with Fabric and Databricks, and then Mim had a tweet out this morning as well that Arun and the CEO of Databricks were on stage at something together, right? So that
was at the keynote.
That's right.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
I had
these
issues
products
during
are
the keynote.
designed to be like tightly linked together and work together. And what I am going to wager we're going to see, and we're going to see a lot of data engineering teams and departments are in Databricks, and they're running and they're operating there, and they'll probably stay there for a long time, right? In the same way that people who ran analysis services stayed in analysis services, and it was a self-service that came on, and it was a self-service that was using the Power BI tabular data sets until the Power platform or Power BI platform evolved to the point where the models became, like, the capabilities became identical, and then people moved over. I'm going to guess we're going to see a lot of parity where we have our pro code data engineer. If you're already working with Databricks and you're coming in with the Databricks lens set or mindset, you just stay in Databricks, and the department, the team, the individuals who come in and want to work in the data lakes, they're going to use the shortcuts. They're going to use the lake houses. They're going to use the data warehouses to create content on top of the stuff that the data engineering teams load and manage. That's my theory, but I'm going to write some more on that.
There you go. Well, I see we're at time, and I figured out what my demo issue was. I have a development workspace and a test workspace. I connected to the.
Can you show it quick, or how fast?
Oh, probably. Yeah. Let me change. Let me add the local model.
Do I have to bail?
Yeah, I don't know if you.
No, I've got 5 minutes. 5
Okay.
minutes.
Let's see if I could do it real
Let's
quick.
go.
Get the local model, create it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's hope I got the right one now. Fiscal year. Let's just do city. Uh-oh, we got an error again. Total quantity. Damn it. I know this one worked yesterday. We
Well,
better just.
yeah. I think we better quit.
I don't think I'm living on the edge. Come on, I think I jumped the edge. So
Enterprise AR is all on your side, rooting you on. But we're just gonna. It's at the end of the live stream. We're pressing our luck. So we're gonna thank you all for like joining us, and thanks for like tuning in with everything in Ignite. Oh, hey, always forget, make sure you hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Kevin, we gotta get better at remembering to do that.
oh yeah. Well, you've had it scrolling at the bottom, and
Sometimes I remember to turn that on, but like I don't. I'm not a good YouTuber. That's not my. I'm more on the data side and having fun with this stuff. So hopefully you've had fun with us.
it's Thanksgiving in the U.S. next week, so we're going to be off on Friday. So 2 weeks from today, we'll be back, and I'll have a demo working. I promise.
That's right. Everyone, have a happy Thanksgiving. Gosh, dang it. See, not a good YouTuber. Normally we do.
It's been a long week.
It has been a very long. Normally we have a lunch and learn on Wednesdays. Wednesday's a travel day for everyone. So Jay is going to be on the live stream on Monday. Monday we're doing the lunch and learn, November 20th, Monday. So join us on Monday as we're going to be going over visual calcs. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Actually work more than like we saw it like over a year ago. And straight up, I know for a fact they've been hard at work on this because making, this is designed, again, that's the other thing, like this is going to be a user focused or facing thing, so it needs to be very intuitive and work, and like you can't have things that don't make sense or like are not intuitive. So they've been very hard at like naming and making things all set up right. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this because I think we're now very, very close to the launch of the visual calc. So, but with that, thank you all for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. Kevin, I'll give you the last words.
You'll give me what?
The last words. Say goodbye.
I have happy Thanksgiving. Spend some time with your family and loved ones. And if you're not in the U.S., spend time with your family and loved ones anyways. So
there you go. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Baker Tilly Digital combines strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.